Today, I want to talk to you about something that many people dream of, but very few truly commit to speaking English fluently. Not perfectly, not like a native, but fluently, confidently, fearlessly. Let me tell you something very honestly. Fluency is not about how many words you know. It is about how much courage you have to use the words you already know. Most people are not stuck because they don't understand English. They are stuck because they are afraid. Afraid of judgment, afraid of mistakes, afraid of embarrassment. Here is the expanded version of Keynote No. A one in the same powerful style, believe in yourself before speaking, is not just a step. It is the foundation of everything you are trying to build. Long before words come out of your mouth, there is a voice inside your head deciding whether you are capable or not. And most of the time, that voice is not kind. It reminds you of your past mistakes, your broken sentences, the moments when people didn't understand you or maybe laughed. It convinces you to stay quiet, to stay safe, to not even try. But what you don't realize is that this voice is not the truth. It is just fear wearing the mask of logic. Every fluent speaker you admire today once stood exactly where you are standing. They were unsure, hesitant, and uncomfortable. They didn't wake up one day magically fluent. They made a decision to believe in themselves before the world believed in them. And that is where your journey begins too. Not with perfect grammar, not with a large vocabulary, but with a small, powerful decision that says, I can do this. When you don't believe in yourself, even the simplest sentence feels heavy. Your mind starts overthinking every word. You translate in your head again and again, trying to make it perfect before speaking. And in that process, you lose confidence, you lose flow, and sometimes you lose the courage to speak at all. But the moment you start trusting yourself, something changes. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing progress. Belief is not about knowing everything. It is about trusting that you will figure it out along the way. It is about accepting that you will make mistakes and choosing to speak anyway. Because the truth is, fluency does not come from thinking. It comes from doing. And doing becomes possible only when you stop doubting yourself. There will be moments when your voice shakes, when your words don't come out the way you planned, when people don't understand you immediately. In those moments, your belief will be tested. And that is when most people give up. Not because they are incapable, but because they lose trust in themselves too quickly. But you must remind yourself that discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of growth. Think about a child learning to speak. They don't wait until they are perfect. They don't worry about grammar or pronunciation. They speak freely, confidently, fearlessly. And that is why they learn so quickly. Somewhere along the way, you forgot that courage. You replaced it with fear. But the good news is, you can bring it back. Start small. Speak simple sentences. Celebrate tiny progress. Every time you choose to speak instead of staying silent, you are strengthening your belief. Every time you try again after making a mistake, you are proving to yourself that you are capable. Confidence is not something you find. It is something you build one sentence at a time. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because it will never come. There will always be a reason to doubt yourself. Always a voice telling you to stay quiet. But if you listen to that voice, you will stay exactly where you are. Growth requires you to challenge that voice, to step forward even when you feel unready. You are not behind. You are not incapable. You are not someone who can't speak English. You are someone who is learning, evolving, and becoming better with every attempt you make. The only difference between you and someone who speaks fluently is not talent. It is belief. So before you learn new words, before you practice pronunciation, before you focus on anything else, build this one thing inside you. A strong, unshakable belief that you can speak, that you will improve, and that your voice deserves to be heard. Practice daily with consistency is where real transformation begins. Because no skill in the world grows without repetition, and language is no different. You cannot expect fluency to come from occasional effort or from those rare moments when you feel motivated. Motivation fades quickly, but discipline stays. And it is discipline that turns small daily actions into powerful long-term results. Every single day you choose to practice, even for a few minutes, you are building something inside yourself that no one can take away from you. Most people wait for the perfect time to start. They tell themselves they will practice when they have more time, when they feel more confident, or when they learn more vocabulary. But that perfect moment never arrives. Days pass, weeks pass, and nothing changes. Progress does not come from waiting. It comes from showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Especially on those days. Consistency does not mean practicing for hours. It means practicing regularly. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused effort every day is far more powerful than studying for hours once a week. Because when you practice daily, your brain stays connected to the language. Words become familiar, sounds become natural. You stop starting from zero every time. Instead, you keep building on what you already know. When you skip practice, you don't just pause your progress, you lose momentum. And rebuilding that momentum is always harder than maintaining it. That is why consistency matters more than intensity. It is not about how much you do in one day. It is about how many days you keep going. Make practice a part of your routine, like something you do without thinking. Speak to yourself in English while getting ready, while walking, while doing simple daily tasks. Describe what you see around you. Express your thoughts out loud. It may feel strange at first, but this is how you train your mind to think in English instead of translating from another language. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Listening is also a form of practice. Surround yourself with English through videos, podcasts, and conversations. Pay attention to how words are used, how sentences are formed, how emotions are expressed. You are not just learning a language. You are absorbing a way of communication. And the more you expose yourself to it, the faster you improve. Do not underestimate the power of small steps. Every new word you use, every sentence you speak, every mistake you correct is progress. It may not feel like much in the moment, but over time, these small efforts add up to something incredible. One day, you will realize that you are speaking without thinking too much, understanding without translating, expressing yourself without fear. There will be days when you feel tired, when you feel like you are not improving, when you question whether your efforts are worth it. These are the moments that define your journey. Because anyone can practice when they feel motivated, but only those who are truly committed continue when it feels difficult. That is what separates those who achieve fluency from those who keep dreaming about it. Do not compare your progress to others. Everyone has a different pace, a different journey, a different starting point. Focus on your own path. Focus on showing up every day, no matter how small the effort seems. Because consistency is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. Turn your practice into a habit so strong that skipping it feels uncomfortable. Let it become a part of who you are, not just something you do occasionally. And slowly, without even realizing it, you will begin to change. Your confidence will grow. Your hesitation will decrease. Your words will start flowing more easily, more naturally, and all of this will happen not because of one big effort, but because of the small, consistent actions you chose to take every single day. Stop fearing mistakes is not just advice. It is a mindset shift that can completely change the way you learn and grow. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people stay silent, even when they have something to say. It whispers in your mind before you even speak, telling you that you will say something wrong, that people will judge you, that you will embarrass yourself. And because of that fear, you choose silence over expression, hesitation over action, and comfort over growth. But mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teachers. Every mistake you make carries a lesson that no book can fully teach you. When you say a sentence incorrectly and someone corrects you, that correction stays with you much longer than something you simply read. It becomes real, it becomes personal, and it becomes part of your learning journey. Without mistakes, there is no feedback. Without feedback, there is no improvement. Think about how you learned your first language. You didn't get everything right from the beginning. You mispronounced words. You used incorrect grammar. You made countless mistakes. But no one expected perfection from you. You kept trying, and with time, you improved. The same process applies here. The only difference is that now you are more aware, more conscious, and unfortunately, more afraid. Fear of mistakes often comes from the fear of judgment. You imagine people laughing, criticizing, or thinking less of you. But the truth is, most people are too focused on themselves to judge you as much as you think. And even if someone does judge you, that says more about them than it does about you. Someone who is growing will never mock someone else for trying. Only those who are stuck make fun of others who are moving forward. When you start accepting mistakes, you remove a huge weight from your shoulders. You stop trying to be perfect, and you start allowing yourself to be real. You speak more freely, you take more risks, and you learn faster. Because learning is not about avoiding errors. It is about making them, understanding them, and improving from them. Every time you avoid speaking because you are afraid of making a mistake, you are also avoiding an opportunity to learn. You are choosing temporary comfort over long-term growth. But every time you speak, even if your sentence is not perfect, you are taking a step forward. You are training your mind to think, to respond, to express. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of effort. They show that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone, that you are trying something new, that you are not afraid to grow. And growth is never clean or perfect. It is messy, it is uncomfortable, and it is filled with trial and error. Start changing the way you react to your mistakes. Instead of feeling embarrassed, feel curious. Ask yourself what went wrong and how you can improve. Instead of staying silent next time, try again. Each attempt makes you stronger, more confident, and more capable. Give yourself permission to be a learner. You are not expected to be perfect. You are expected to try. And trying means risking mistakes. It means stepping into situations where you might not feel fully prepared. But that is where real progress happens. Imagine what would happen if you removed fear from your learning process. You would speak more often. You would experiment with new words. You would engage in conversations without overthinking every sentence. Your growth would accelerate because you are no longer holding yourself back. You have to understand that every fluent speaker you see today has made thousands of mistakes. The difference is they did not stop because of them. They embraced those mistakes as part of the journey. They kept going, kept speaking, kept improving. And if you allow yourself to do the same, you will realize that mistakes were never something to fear, but something that was quietly guiding you toward fluency. Surround yourself with English is not just a technique. It is a powerful decision to change the environment around you so that learning becomes natural instead of forced. Most people treat English like a subject they study for a limited time and then put away, but language is not something you visit occasionally. It is something you live with, something you experience daily, something that becomes a part of your routine and your thoughts. When you create an environment where English exists all around you, you stop depending only on effort and start benefiting from exposure. Your surroundings shape your habits, and your habits shape your results. If your environment does not support your learning, progress becomes slow and difficult. But when you fill your surroundings with English, improvement starts happening even without conscious effort. You begin to hear the rhythm of the language, the way sentences flow, the way words connect, the tone, the expressions, the emotions behind the words. All of this cannot be fully learned from books alone. It comes from constant exposure. Start with what you already have access to. Your phone, your laptop, your daily routine. Change the language settings of your devices to English. Follow content in English. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, read simple articles. Do not worry if you do not understand everything at first. Understanding grows with exposure. At the beginning, your mind may feel overwhelmed, but slowly it starts recognizing patterns, familiar words, repeated phrases. What once felt confusing begins to make sense. Listening plays a very important role in building fluency. When you listen regularly, you train your ears to understand different accents, speeds, and styles of speaking. You start noticing how native speakers pronounce words, where they pause, how they emphasize certain parts of a sentence. This helps you not only understand better, but also improve your own speaking naturally. Without even realizing it, you begin to imitate what you hear. Reading is another powerful way to surround yourself with English. It does not have to be complicated books or difficult texts. Start with simple content that interests you. Stories, articles, captions, anything that keeps you engaged. When you read, you expand your vocabulary, you learn sentence structures, and you see how ideas are expressed. And the more you read, the more confident you become in forming your own sentences. But surrounding yourself with English is not just about passive activities like listening and reading. It is also about creating opportunities to use the language. Try to speak whenever you can. If you do not have people around you to practice with, speak to yourself. Describe your day, your plans, your thoughts. It may feel unusual at first, but this practice helps you think in English instead of translating from your native language. If possible, connect with people who are also learning or who already speak English. Conversations expose you to real life usage of the language. They challenge you to respond, to think quickly, to express yourself clearly. And in those moments, you learn more than you would by studying alone. Communication is not perfect, but it is real, and real practice is what builds fluency. Your environment should encourage you, not limit you. Remove distractions that pull you away from your goal and replace them with things that support your learning. Even small changes in your surroundings can create a big impact over time. The more you immerse yourself, the less effort it feels like, because learning becomes a natural part of your daily life. There will be moments when you feel like you are not understanding enough, when you feel lost or confused, but that is part of the process. Your brain is adjusting, adapting, building new connections. Trust that process. The more you stay connected to the language, the more those connections strengthen. Gradually, you will notice changes. Words will come to your mind more easily. You will start understanding conversations without needing to translate every sentence. You will feel more comfortable expressing yourself. And all of this will happen because you chose to surround yourself with the language instead of keeping it at a distance. And when English becomes a part of your environment, it no longer feels like something you are trying to learn, but something you are naturally becoming familiar with every single day.